Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the Altenew February 2019 Block Hop, and I am very excited to actually be part of the Block Hop as they're releasing a new set of stamps, dies, and stencils, and these ones are gorgeous release. So for this project, I'm going to show you what I did with the beautiful Peony die and stamp set. And this stamp set is gorgeous because it's just the outline of the flowers, and you can customize it to whatever suits your needs, and also to whatever you're comfortable with. I love working with watercolor. I'm not an expert at it, but I do enjoy actually coloring flowers with watercolor. Again, not an expert, but I love it. So all I did is I stamped quite a bit of the flowers. I'm going to say at least 6 of each design of the flowers. And this is just the same flower. I'm going to say in 3 different stages of development. Sounds really bad, but that's what it is. And I stamped it with archival ink onto marshmallow cardstock from Basso. And I just wanted some cardstock that I didn't want to use watercolor. I wanted to use marshmallow cardstock a little bit wider. So I wanted the whiteness of the paper, but I wanted something that was going to hold mixed media. Even though I'm not going to add lots of water, I just feel comfortable not from it to be warping. So all I'm going to do to customize it, and it's something that I love working with, is watercolor. And I'm not an expert at it, but I do enjoy coloring with it. I love the fact that I can move water around and kind of shade places. And these flowers are the perfect place because there is, like I said, there's a lot you can do with it. You can customize them to whatever suits your needs or whatever your taste is. And like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do enjoy it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm using the Altenew watercolor set. And all I'm doing is giving a quick wash to the entire flower, petal by petal, with the color that I'm choosing. In this case, you're going to see that I'm going to use a lot of yellows. I'm going to say kind of a pinkish, orange, kind of a coral, and also a little bit of fuchsia purple. So all I'm doing right now, what I did is I added a wash of the yellow tone that comes in the Altenew watercolor pan set, and just a light wash. And then I'm using the Altenew aqua brush that comes in the set just to pick up more of the same pigment. I'm going with the lightest shade of yellow just to add a little bit of shading to where the flower petal starts, the one that's closer to the center of the flower. And then just moving the pigment a little bit outside of it, kind of creating a little bit of shading, try to give the idea where the petals meet. That's when you're going to find a deeper color. Also, create a little bit of the shadow just to give them a little bit more realism. Again, this is up to you completely, how or which way you want to customize these flowers. I love watercoloring flowers. I find it very therapeutic. And this layout, it actually took 2 days to complete. Not 2 days. It took a night and the next morning, because I do love adding a lot of details when it comes to my watercolor. And you're going to see that I took quite a bit of flowers, and I also stamped a lot of leaves too. So all I did is, once I have created my first shading with the yellow, I'm going to go with the next shade of yellow, which is right next to it. I think it goes the same. They're colors that match also the ink, so I think it's Sunkissed. And all I'm doing is just adding with the little tip of the aqua brush, just adding a little bit of shading to the areas where the petals meet, and also to create a little bit of the shadow. So you're going to see that I'm going to add quite a bit of the yellow to the center of the flowers. I'm going to add a little bit to the center of the petals, just kind of drag the paint outside just to create a little bit of the shading. Once you're going to see that I'm going to start working the same idea and going to start adding different, not different tones, but I'm going to start bringing a little bit more of a deeper color of watercolor, kind of the same idea as you would with stamping with the inks. And all I'm doing is just adding definition, adding some dimension to the flower just by adding watercolor. And again, like I said, I'm not an expert. I do enjoy it. Now, what I'm going to do right now is, and you're going to see me that I bring one of my really thin brushes, and with this, I'm just going to go more into the orange tone just to create that shadow, give a lot of definition to the background. I love the flowers. As I was coloring, they gave me the idea, because they're actually, I'm not going to say they're big, but they're quite big. So if you want to do a card, I think just 1 or 2 flowers will be more than enough, but I wanted to create a layer with this. So I stamped quite a bit. But as I was working with them, they give me that antique look. So you're going to see that I bring a little bit of orange. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of brown too, just to create that deep shadow, just to give it a lot of definition and dimension to the flower. Now for the center of the flowers, I'm going to choose to add a little bit of orange just to create with red. And you're gonna see that I add the color, but I also dab it away just because I don't want it to be that red, but I want it to be a little bit different from the yellow that was all around it. And that's pretty much it. You're gonna see it up close. You can see it, but up close it looks so beautiful. So now I'm just gonna show you what else. Like, I'm gonna take it off camera in a bit just to show you that it did take a while. You're gonna see me change my outfit because it was the next day. And all I'm doing for the next flower is mixing a little bit of that pink tone with some of the yellow that I have, and until I have kind of a coral tone. And then I just started the same method. I went with a wash, and then I just started adding a little bit more pigment, adding with the brush just towards the center, just to create the shadow and the dimension. And you're gonna see, like, I'm gonna tell you, it did take a while for me to create. I like to detail them. Not an expert at it, but I do enjoy this a lot. So I'm gonna take it off camera, and I'm gonna take a night to work on this. And you're gonna see me. I'm gonna sweat in a sweater now. But this is the next day, and I spent, like I said, a night while my family was watching a movie. I just spent the night coloring, and I created different flowers. One with this coral kind of pinkish tone, and one using fuchsia towards purple. And I love the color combination. And I also did quite a bit of the leaves too. I stamped all of them. A light wash, and then I just kind of added little flecks of green, darker green. So I'm gonna go ahead and build this layout. I'm using a cut file by Paige Evans, and I cut it out of I'm gonna say like a taupe kind of cardstock. I have this large picture of my family. It's actually, I'm gonna say, bigger than a 4x6, and I just sized it that big so it kind of matches the dimensions of the flowers. Now, because it is such a simple design, I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit of mixed media to the background. So the first thing I did is, you saw me when I put the frame down, I kind of with a pencil added, I added a little dots on the paper just to give me an idea where my frame is gonna sit. And then I added the picture just also to give me an idea where the picture is gonna sit. Now I'm using marshmallow cardstock from Basil for the background, just because it can actually hold a lot of mixed media without warping that much. And I'm having pre-ess on the page, so that means that I'm gonna add water straight onto the paper. And that's what I wanted, a thicker kind of cardstock. I don't want to use watercolor. I do enjoy watercolor, but I wanted to keep the layout as white as I can. I want the flowers to pop a lot on this page. So all I'm gonna do is playing with the green tones of the Altenew watercolor pen set just to add color. I'm gonna use the packaging technique. I'm gonna use my brush just to add color to the corners, to the top left corner of the layout, and also to the bottom left corner of the layout. Pretty much that's where my diagonal design is gonna go. I'm gonna add quite a large cluster at the top corner and also around the picture. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna use, like I said, all the tones of the green watercolor that it comes in the palette, just to create, I'm gonna say, kind of little triangles of mixed media. And all I do is, I have a little piece of plastic from my packaging, add a little bit of the pigment, in this case the watercolor, a little bit of water, and then I don't add lots. I like working in smaller sections so I can control it. And then I'm just gonna kind of push it a little bit into the paper so that it gives me this little spot of watercolor that I can control with the paper. Sorry, with the plastic in this case. And then if I need extra color, I'm gonna kind of add a little bit of splatters with my brush. And then what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna see quite a bit, is that I'm gonna, and why I like working in small sections, sorry that I'm being redundant, is that I can mix a few colors together. And because it's such a small section, it doesn't look like little splotches, but it actually mixes together. And you're gonna see that as you see it being formed, it's kind of a triangle. And I'm actually spreading with the splatters a little bit because I know that I'm gonna have actually leaves, and I wanted to show behind the flowers, so I kind of spread it a little bit longer than what the flowers are going to be sitting. And I'm going to repeat the same process for the bottom right corner of the layer, where the bottom of the frame is going to go. Now, like I said before, the frame was cut out of taupe cardstock, but I wanted to give it more of a darker look to the edges. So what I'm doing is I am using some of the Altenew inks, and this is Mocha, this is the crisp ink, and this brush is from Vicky Butin, is the stencil brush, and all I'm doing is kind of just adding color to the edges. I'm not going to be completely covered. I just want to create a little bit of shadow because I am going to pop the frame on top of the layout. So I'm going to use some foam adhesive behind the frame, and I just wanted to kind of stand out a little bit more and be a little bit, not messy, but I want it to be more defined. So a little bit of ink on the edges is going to do the trick. Now, I cut this paper from the Altenew Reflections kit, scrapbook kit, just because I want to bring that green onto the layout. And you're gonna see the flowers, they're gonna pop, and I want that. I want the contrast. That's what I kept also the picture black and white, so that they will contrast and actually go together really well. There's gonna be a lot of color, and I think having a black and white picture is not gonna take away from the flowers, and it's gonna make the picture stand out. And also because this is my sister, her kid, and my kid all together with my mom on Mother's Day, I'm gonna say 4 years ago, and each one of them was wearing a different color clothing, so it was easier to transform it to black and white to be able to have the flowers do a lot of the work for me. So you're gonna see that I am actually gonna start creating, I'm gonna say the little clusters of flowers, and I'm gonna take advantage of all the colors to create this clusters. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to use at least one of each of the stages of the flowers, of the designs in this case of the flowers, to create my cluster. And like I said, I actually stamped and colored quite a bit of leaves because I knew that to have the colors popped, I needed to bring quite a bit of leaves. And these leaves are actually very small in comparison to what the size of the flowers. So I'm not gonna say you need a lot, but it's super simple to color them, super simple to stamp them. And actually it was really, they came in really handy to help me build the clusters and kind of elongate the shape. You're gonna see that I'm gonna play with some foam adhesive just to give some of the flowers a little bit of extra movement. So also to prop them, I don't want them to be flat on the layout. I like dimension. And I think especially when I'm adding so many flowers that have details, having that little space in between them, it actually works and helps a lot. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna play quite a bit with the clusters, and then I'm gonna create, and the idea was that I'm gonna create a big cluster at the bottom of the layout, kind of covering the picture, and then the next cluster is gonna be behind the picture, kind of like an L, an inverted L at the bottom right corner of the picture. And then I'm just gonna create another cluster that is gonna kind of cascade from the top of the frame onto the picture on the top left corner of the frame. I'm gonna show you, like, again, like I said, I try to combine the 3 different styles of the flowers that come in the stamp set and also the colors. And I did not use that many of the fuchsia color. I only color, I think, 4 of them. So I'm gonna make sure that I use at least one of them in each cluster, just kind of repetition and to create my cluster. And I love how this turned out because I think it balances really well. The picture doesn't get lost. The flowers do a lot of the work for this, so I'm not gonna need that much more of embellishing. Now the beauty of this stamp set is that come with this very tiny leaves that's also from the Peony set, and all I did is I stamped them and colored them, and then I'm gonna use them, kind of think of enamel dots. So I was like, as they're falling from the clusters, and they're just gonna help me create some sort of movement on the layout. And that's pretty much it. To embellish, I'm gonna bring some of the acetate butterflies from Altenew, and I love them. I think this is my 2nd pack already. And all I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of foam adhesive and add it to the top, that space between the 2 clusters on the right hand side of the picture. Then this one is also the wood veneer stickers that were released in December, and I'm gonna use the word love. All I'm doing is I'm gonna emboss it with gold powder. I'm also gonna emboss one of the little hearts that comes in this set, and all I wanted to do with that is create my title. And I have all this space on the left hand side of the picture, so I'm gonna take advantage of that to add my title there. I'm gonna bring some gold alpha from my stash. I think these are from Pink Fresh Studio, just to complete the title, Family Love. And then I'm just gonna add a little line that says this is my picture from Mother's Day on 2015. That's all I'm gonna need. I'm not gonna actually add lots of journaling because this is gonna sit on my album. And I love how this turned out. Really, I really love how this turned out. Everything, I took a lot of time to detail this. Love how this turned out. I hope you try it. Don't forget to join in the hub to win some gift certificates, or a chance to win gift certificates, and also to be inspired by all these new products. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you back in a little bit. Take care.